dudes in Italian? What, caballeros? I don't know what it is.
Oh.
Ragazzi? Hey, ragazzi.
Hey!
Hey!
Ooh.
Hey, ragu!
Hey! Laissez le bon temps l'Italiano.
Oh, it's Loathsome Things. That's right. Oh, man, I know you've been waiting. And that's right, we're back. I sound like Casey Kasem, and my name is John, and my co-host Josh is here with me. Josh, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I sound like Case Keenum? I don't know.
Whoa.
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I'm doing fine. I'm doing swell. I'm doing hats. I'm doing bats. I'm doing lats. No, I'm not.
You're listening to American Talk 40.
America's prairie home companion. Come here and let me touch you slightly inappropriately.
Hi there, Scoob.
Good. We're us, and this is why you listen.
Mm-hmm. Two grown men talking about really bad horror movies.
And it's our second attempt at doing so.
Good thing, too, because this one is really good.
Oh, man. So much, like, you know, John, if the right eye offends thee, then you should pluck it out.
Yeah, well, apparently in the immortal acts of Lucio Fulci, that happens quite often.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of Lucio Fulci,
yeah,
what are we doing here today? What movie are we talking about?
We're talking about a guy. I want to say his name is Lucio Fulci, and his movie is wait a minute, wait. It's called Surprisingly Set in America, even though it looks dubbed, it's not the movie. Yeah.
That's what it's called.
That's it.
That's the one.
It's Beyond the Thee.
Beyond the Door, the Beyond.
Yeah. Beyond the Door. With two E's, you see. Yeah.
This, in case you're not familiar with Lucio Fulci, and if you're not, what the fuck are you doing here, really? Because, come on.
Who are you?
You're an idiot.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's only the 1970s Italian gore master.
Come on!
He's made a whole series of unbelievably bad films, pretty much all of which are amazing, and I love them.
Yes, that is an accurate assessment of his skill level, including this movie where he was like, hey, remember how like 20 years ago I was at the frontier of gore? What if I did a bunch of cocaine and revisited the skill level of gore I achieved back then?
Oh my god. Oh man, this guy makes tremendous use of wax.
Oh man. Yeah. Just the lowest quality of rubber.
This movie, I don't remember when I first saw The Beyond, but that was maybe 10 years ago or so, and I just was like, it kept showing up on some streaming service or something, and I was like, it's Fulci. I read so many great things about him. Every time I watch one of his movies, I'm shocked at how bad it is. But, they're all just charming in their own way. And so I watched it. It was set in Louisiana. We're here in Texas, so I'm quite familiar with Louisiana. Been there many times.
Yeah.
It's shot, I think, for the most part in Louisiana. I think the set shots are the stage shots are shot in Italy, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
But there's a lot of, and it's not just like Louisiana, it's straight up New Orleans. It's right there at the mausoleums. You can see the crookedy sidewalks. It's beautiful. It's like, oh man, look, New Orleans before it got fucked over.
Everything's dilapidated and very French.
Yeah. Also French.
You can still see some of that in the French Quarter. I mean, they've, a lot of money has gone into the French Quarter, obviously, to appeal to tourists. There's some luxury hotels, there's some fancy restaurants and stuff, but some of those really, really nasty looking, run down, badly need to be pressure washed buildings, they're still there. And you go to New Orleans right now and you're going to see that stuff. I mean, there's a certain about New Orleans that will never, it's just timeless. It's timelessly degenerate. There's something very dark about that city. It's as cheesy as it sounds, as many times as you hear it. If you go there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just something's a little off with that city.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. It's one of my favorite places, especially in this country. It's there's really nothing like it in the world, but especially in the United States. I mean, it was French territory forever, and it was bought for like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And you have like the French influence, you have the African slave influence, you have the French Canadian influence. So you've got Cajun Creole, and then there's the natives. It's a weird mix, and New Orleans is kind of the ultimate expression of that, as far as like urban wise, anyway. I don't know why he set this movie in New Orleans. I don't have a fucking clue.
No.
I doubt very seriously the man knew anything about New Orleans, because the movie certainly doesn't seem to reflect that. He went straight to the quarter, found some old house that he could use, shot in the old house, somehow managed to shut down the bridge over Lake Pontchartrain long enough to make a crazy shot.
A
crazy
beautiful shot. Like, wow. But yeah, there's like, oh yeah, no one needs to get anywhere today.
Like, that's one of two ways, basically, to get to New Orleans if you're driving and, you're not coming from like fucking Homa or someplace like that and having to cross the river. I mean, it's that is one of the main I-10 thoroughfares. That is the I-10 thoroughfare into New Orleans, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because the other one is the detour route. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a little while since I've been there, but it's just this long flat road, kind of reminiscent of the one in the Keys, the 7-mile long road in the Keys that's just flat, and the only thing there is Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis shooting some movie scene. But in this case, it's some blonde lady and some other blonde lady with really bad contact lenses.
Oh man, yeah. And a very good dog.
That dog, Dickie, is pretty amazing.
Get him, Dickie! Dickie! Dickie!
Dickie the dog. I of course wrote none of the names down. What are some of the Fulci movies he made? Zomba.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. He made The Eroticist, A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, Double Face, A Few Bullets More, I Maniaci, and some other stuff. I don't know. Toto to the Moon. Yeah. Real good things. Let me make sure I'm on the right page. Oh yeah, Don't Torture a Duckling, because he's Catholic and is in no way critical of the Catholic Church. Dracula in the Provinces, The Psychic, City of the Living Dead, The Black Cat, The House by the Cemetery, The New York Ripper, Murder Rock Dancing Death, okay. The Enigma with an A, because, Europe. Yeah. Zombie 3, just tons of them. The House of Clocks, The Sweet House of Horrors, A Cat in the Brain, Demonia, Voices from Beyond, 1,000. Oh wait, these are the movies he wrote. I'm great at this. I had to close all of my windows down where I had the information just to make this recording work. And so, fuck you. Yeah, all those movies that I said, but he also wrote them too.
Yeah. I saw. I mean, he's notorious for his gore, but it's also very campy. It's not. To say that it's realistic is a bit of a stretch, but it is awesome. And he zombie is like the classic Italian zombie movie, which I believe was supposed to be a sequel to Night of the Living Dead or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Completely not meant to be. He just tacked it on, and they called it that in Italy. Like they called it like Night of the Living Dead 2 or something like that.
Yeah. I think without his permission.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah.
That movie, which by the way it's really bad. Like it's almost not even fun bad. It is fun bad, particularly the scene where the zombie fights a shark.
Yes.
That shit is amazing.
And isn't it even a little bit further than that? Like, doesn't the zombie technically save a topless woman from a shark or something like that?
I don't remember this situation.
I think there's a topless lady in the water, and then there's a zombie and a shark, and the only way that she gets away is either the shark saves her from the zombie, or the zombie saves her from the shark. If I remember correctly, which I certainly do not.
Oh my god, his movies are insane. I remember there was one. You said the title. I forget what it was called, but it was. Yeah. There's a scene in the movie where if it's like it's raining maggots or something like that, like millions of them, but it's coming in horizontally and like pelting these people in this house, and it's so over the top and disgusting. It's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, God bless that weird man.
Yeah. Rest in pieces, Lucio
of
Fulci.
Wax.
Yeah, pieces of wax.
So I didn't write any of the names down. Who are the actual humans that are in this movie?
Actual humans with actual names like, let's see, Catherine McCall, whose actual name is... Oh, shit. My fucking phone. I'm getting a new phone soon. Fuck this phone. Catriona McCall, who in this movie went by Catherine, because, an American audience. Then we have David Warbeck, that sexy wet-dicked hero of the film.
Wet-dicked hero.
Oh, there's just that space where the bottom of the penis overlaps with the top of the ball sack. It is just pure New Orleans in there.
It's just morshed. It's glutinous.
Oh, good! No gluten-free diet here, ladies.
No, siree. Giovanni, or whatever his name was. Giovanni Warbeck, or whatever.
And then, of course, the darling Emily is played by Cinzia Monreale, or, as she was known in this movie, Sarah Keller.
So fucking stupid.
I'm gonna become an American actress!
Oh, man. Yeah, this movie has some amazing elements in it. The setting is ridiculous. The effects are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The premise is fine. It's a typical 70s horror premise, really. It's like a Hammer film premise, basically.
Yeah, it's super Lovecraftian, but through an Italian lens.
Yeah. But the execution is it's god-awful. The storytelling is so bad. There's things that happen, and then you have to piece together why they happen later, because he doesn't tell you. It just, suddenly this guy's dead, and then there's a corpse you're at the morgue, and suddenly the guy in the morgue looks like the guy you just saw, so you assume it's him.
Must be
but
him.
You don't know, because they don't fucking tell you anything. It's great.
Yeah. It wasn't until my third watch that I was able to, make it through what was happening at all. I was, what? How did we get here? What is happening? When did that guy become dead? I don't understand.
There's a great movie in there. It's just so piss poor in execution. And there's just this weird, there's like this anomaly in space-time with Italian horror films where all the things that would make you be murdered on the street in the United States if you made these movies make you a hero if you're from Italy and make these movies, and they come over here and everybody loves you. Like, oh, he's a master. They always use words like master for guys like Fulci, and it's like, a master of what? I mean, what has he mastered? He hasn't mastered anything. This movie is terrible. I love it, but it's terrible.
Yeah, this movie is not great, but watching it can make you feel things. And that is the truest treasure of all.
It does have that wonderfully unique Euro charm of 70s horror films that are just like the D'Ossorio guy that did the Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Hell yeah.
You know, similar, just complete campy nonsense. Like, oh, I wanted these guys to look scary, so we'll play it in slow motion. Like, what? Who the hell rides a horse in slow motion?
Oh,
it's so good.
John, what if I told you that when Lucio Fulci was born,
yeah,
Benito Mussolini was in power and would remain in power until Lucio Fulci was 16 years old? Do you think that could be true? And if so, do you think that could have anything to do with how fucking weird these movies are?
It's certainly possible. I do. I mean, it certainly can be true. I assume it is, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, God only knows what effect that would have growing up in the birthplace of fascism.
Yeah. His parents were Catholic anti-fascists, which would seem really cool and powerful if his Catholic anti-fascist father didn't abandon his mother while she was still pregnant, and so Lil Lucio Fulci never knew his anti-fascist daddy. That has nothing to do with anything here!
Well, it must have imprinted him in some way because he felt some compelling need to make really bad horror movies.
Oh, that have fine opinions of women.
Yes. Here's a shocker. 70s Italian men do not have high opinions of women.
There is this one scene where, I will say, I'll give it to him, in any other movie from this era that looks like this, that goes this way, that man would have slapped that woman in the face, full force, to calm her down, and in this one, he just yells directly into her face instead. I was like, wow, what restraint. What a masculine hero this guy is.
How subtle.
The man with a gun with all the bullets. And here he wins.
No shit.
He's just reloading based with testosterone. You don't even have to open the chamber for that.
Are you out of bullets? I'm never out of bullets.
I begift them with my dick.
I excrete them.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a trilogy, right? This is a trilogy of movies that he made. This is the second movie in the trilogy for The Gates of Death. The other one was one that I mentioned, and the other one was another one that I mentioned. The end of story.
And there you go.
Yeah, it was City of the Living Dead was part 1, The Beyond, which we're reviewing, is part 2, and The House by the Cemetery is part 3 of the Gates of Death trilogy.
Yeah, that's right. I can't remember which one is the Raining Maggots movie. I think it was the first one. Could be the third.
Well,
thanks for coming out.
If it makes you feel any better, I had a lot of trouble picking which movie we were going to watch next, and you talking about the raining of maggots helped me decide what it was going to be.
Oh, good. I'm so glad I narrowed it down by referring to the raining of maggots.
I was like, you know what? That was the sign I needed.
Choice made.
Anything else we need to talk about, John, before we dive on into everything that happens in this movie, and you will tell us the ways in which it makes sense?
Yeah. No, I can't think of anything else. I'm so ready to sort of explain in some kind of possible way what the fuck just happened when I watched this movie.
Let's dive on into her.
Oh, man. So the movie opens in Louisiana in 1927. Everything is very sepia tone-ish. Yeah. A bunch of goons in rowboats are on their way somewhere with torches. And in the meantime, this lady is in a house reading, plantation-style house, reading a book called Abon, apparently. It looks like it's spelled Ibon, but okay.
Ibon.
Also in the house is some guy with really intense not glowy, but focused, zoomed in on eyeballs, who is painting some sort of hellscape. And these dudes, the boat dudes, arrive at this house. And then we hear about how the prophecies of Abon were handed down for over a period of 4,000 years.
Thanks.
Great. The posse enters the house. They hunt down Eyeballs, referring to him as an ugly warlock. And then they locate him in room 36, whereupon they start whipping his face with chains. And they drag him down to the cellar. We cut to the blonde lady reading the Ibon book, Abon, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
We get more chain whipping, and he's bleeding, red paint sepia paint at this point. They nail him to the wall Jesus style, and by the way, they don't tell you this, but he is now back in room 36, which I had to figure out after watching the film 100 times.
Yeah.
They take him to the basement, but then magically he's back in room 36, where he gets 9-inch nailed to the walls, and then they dump boiling white wax goop all over his head, which melts him to death. I don't know what the hell that was. What the hell was that shit?
It looks like plaster, but...
Yeah, I guess so, but it was boiling.
So, look, in this movie, you're gonna have to really get used to fluids not looking like what they are. Because, oh no, that pitcher of water has fallen and it is going to make that lady's hair wet.
It's magically turned into wax, and now it's a liquid again. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? So that happens. So then we hear, "Woe be to whomever opens the gate of hell, because end times," or something along that.
Quite.
7 gates of hell, whatever it is. Clearly the house and Abon and dead eyeballs, melty wax face guy and lady reading book all are tied into the gates of hell. Then we get the credit sequence with some really bad music.
Ooh.
And we cut to 1981. The house is now being remodeled by some lady who we find out is named Liza. Some dudes are up on a scaffold outside the house painting, and one guy looks in the window and sees the blonde lady from earlier who was reading Abon. She has weird contact lenses in. Oh, this is absolutely terrifying to him, and he does the and then he slips over backwards over the scaffold, falls to the ground, unconscious, bleeding, and then a doctor arrives, and Dr. John, Louisiana, takes bloody Pater Bro to the hospital. Rape. Yeah. The new owners of the house, who I guess are Liza and this guy Martin, although he only shows up later to be basically to die. That's the only reason he seems to be in this movie.
Is that the guy that wants to like do over the house?
Yeah, well, who the fuck is he?
He's just like obsessed with, I want to renovate your house, but fire all of these other people who want to renovate your house. Yeah, I don't know what his deal is, but yeah, he can get bitten.
Yeah. It's a hotel apparently, and she wants to not convert it, but renovate it into, hotel order. Whatever. There's this box downstairs in the lobby area that has a bunch of nothing on it except one number, 36, and the bell on it starts screaming like the loudest bell ever, which terrifies her, and she's like, "What? Room 36? There shouldn't be anybody in room 36. Yeah, there shouldn't, because you just bought the house and you're renovating it, you whore.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck? Okay, that's fine. The plumber, whose name is Joe, arrives because the water in the house doesn't work and the basement is flooded. So, Joe goes down into the, what does she say? Oh yeah, she takes him down into the office, down to the basement, and she says, "How long is it going to take, Joe?" And Joe says, "As long as it takes."
He's such a leftover from Fulci's Western movies. He's got the cigarette and he just looks like he's about to shoot someone. I love that he, as a normal part of his little plumber's box of tools, he has a hammer and chisel. You know, those normal plumbing tools.
I'm here to fix the plumbing. I've brought my hammer and chisel. Some lady comes leering out of the dark for no reason, named Martha.
Yeah.
Who just shows up and is like, "Hello, Joe. I have made a pathway for you so that you may walk across the be-flooded basement." And, okay. And then she fucks off with Liza, I guess, and Joe wanders off down the footpath that Martha has put there for him so nicely, and finds a leaky pipe and starts hammer and chiseling. See, he did need to hammer and chisel.
He needed to.
Starts busting a hole in the wall around the pipe into this chamber that has already been pre-lit so we can see it, with some sort of sigil on the walls. They used the same sigil twice because that's apparently the only sigil anybody could think of.
Wow.
So inside this hidden chamber, Joe finds a goopy wall hole, which he fingers. And then, as he's doing something, I don't remember, some evil hand lurches through blasts through the hole in the wall and hits him in the face and pushes his eyeball out with one of its fingers.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome and really bad.
So bad.
Liza is now driving across Lake Pontchartrain. She's the only person on the road. And we know this because A, there's no cars on the road, and B, she's driving right down the center lane. In the distance, we see a woman and dog, and this shot's I'd say about 50 minutes long. So she's driving down, just getting closer and closer to the lady on the bridge, finally gets right up to the lady and has to slam on her brakes, screeching her tires so she doesn't hit the lady that she saw about 10 minutes ago. So she stops, gets out of the car, and, oh my God, it's so weird. And the blind lady says to her, "Hello, Emily. Hello, my name is Emily, Liza, and I have been looking for you because I'm blind." Like, did nobody think that she can't really look for anything? Okay, that's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, next thing we know, Liza has taken this fucking woman who's standing in the middle of the road with her dog back to the hotel. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They get back to the hotel, and Martha sees, by herself apparently, finds Joe's wall hole and his his still dying body, and he's like pouring blood out of his nose and mouth and orange goop that looks like body fat, like when somebody gets lipoed, just like gushing out of his mouth, and he's like and like sinking down to the ground. His eyes are gouged out, and he's just completely covered in like wax prosthetics. It looks so bad.
It does.
It was great.
He looks like you.
He does. Then we're back with Emily for whatever reason, and Emily warns Liza that she needs to. You must leave the house immediately, which apparently she doesn't do. It's I don't know why. It's crazy. Now we're in the morgue, and there's a couple dudes fucking with a corpse, which I guess is the corpse from the basement that gouged out his eyes. They don't tell you that. Turns out it is.
Yeah.
And the guy's going to do an autopsy on it, because I love what he says. He says, it looks pretty good for a corpse that's been dead for 6 years. Like, how do you know how long it's been dead? And if he's only been dead 6 years, he looks terrible. He looks like he was made out of mud, like he's a fucking golem or something. So, it's fucking... So he's like, I will perform an autopsy. And the other guy's like, but I would like to first use my brain scan device that I've been working on for no apparent reason.
Yeah. I would like to hook this up to my brain scan device and then very quickly get distracted and leave the room with it plugged in.
Jesus Christ. Like he got bored. Like, I don't know why this dead guy's not registering on the brain scan.
This guy who I'm gonna, I guess, have to fix my brain scan attachments to, I think, 6-inch thick plates of plaster?
It's so fucking stupid. So, of course, he leaves, as you mentioned, and the scanner goes off as soon as he leaves. Oh, wow. How shocking. We see somebody standing outside the room in the morgue, and there's a sign up on the wall that says, "Do not entry." It's so good. It's just some rando lady who apparently is like Joe's lady or something. We don't know. She's got some ginger girl with her who doesn't look like Joe or her. She leaves the girl outside by the do not entry sign and goes in and is like stroking Joe's face and getting very sad. And then somehow she ends up on the floor, and a gigantic beaker full of water acid breaks somehow and then drips, but not drips, pours into her mouth or all over her face for about 30 to 40 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much liquid, but that thing was deceptively large volumed.
Yeah.
So this stuff is just gushing all over her face, and her face like turns pinkish, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then it starts, apparently it's some sort of acid. It's like her face starts dissolving, which is badass. The little girl comes in, freaks the fuck out. We cut to the woman's funeral. Okay, now we're in a cemetery in New Orleans. It's a funeral. The ginger girl goes blind eyes at the funeral. She's got the same eyes as Emily. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Whatever. That doesn't matter.
Pippi Longblindings.
Jesus Christ. Then we're back with Emily and Eliza. Apparently these two have just been kicking it. And Emily is now telling Liza about the house because Liza didn't leave and she had warned her. So now I'm going to have to tell you everything, which you should have fucking done in the first place. So she tells her about the 7 gateways to hell, and that this house is one of them, and that Schweik, the guy who had the eyeballs and got crucified in the beginning of the movie, he found the key, and that's why this house is one of the 7 gateways. Okay. Yeah. Emily then tells Liza that Schweik is back in room 36. Dun, dun. Suddenly, Emily gets stigmata for no reason at all.
Oh my god.
And magically is suddenly able to see well enough to run out the door in slow motion. Maybe because it was in slow motion. And her dog and his gigantic balls flapping between his leg follow her out the door twice. They show it twice in a row.
They
because
sure do.
balls. That dog's balls were amazing. in room, back in room 36, Emily sees Schweik's corpse. It turns out he is that muddy corpse back in the morgue, but now he's nailed to the wall. Jesus Christ pose.
Yeah.
Dr. John arrives, and she's freaking out. You must come and see. There is a mud corpse nailed to the wall. And they go into room 36, and it's just the nails. And the doctor touches the nails, and he's like, oh, yes, this is not blood. This appears to be rust. You are clearly a hysterical woman. So fucking, it's just the worst. Then they're walking around downtown New Orleans, and Liza sees through the window the Ibon book or whatever, and they go in to the bookstore. It's some old used book dealer, and of course, when she gets in there and picks up the book, it's a different book, and the guy who works there is like hunched over some book, and he's like,
oh, that book has been here for many years, but it is not the one for which you seek.
I was like, what the fuck?
The best bookseller ever.
It's like, who is that guy, Arvin? So,
It's a good book.
oh my god. So they fuck off out of the bookstore. That was an important scene.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Martin, the guy who wants to, like, I don't know, like, poach the renovation job, I guess, goes to some research library and talks to another weird fucking dude.
Oh, man.
And is like, I would like to research the Seven Gates Hotel. And then the guy's like, I would do it for you, but I don't have any interest in doing so, so I will leave and let you do it, and I don't want you to be interrupted, so I'll lock you in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Those books are all the way at the top of the ladder, you see.
You must climb this actual ladder and not cool library ladder that I have.
No, we just put this shitty fiberglass ladder all the way to the top for you.
So Martin goes up there, immediately finds this nasty-looking book, opens it right to the page of the Seven Gates Hotel, which is apparently the schematic drawing of the hotel. It's the largest building ever made. It's like 500,000 square feet. And he's stunned, and then he ends up on the floor. I don't remember. Does the Schweik monster show up or something? All I know is he falls off the ladder.
Yeah.
Bash.
Yeah.
And then apparently he's paralyzed because then he's attacked by 2 real tarantulas and 4 or 5 very, very fake tarantulas.
They could only afford 2 real ones, and they're like, well, how do we make it look like more?
Oh my god. It's like, you guys didn't even try. It's like you just took a couple pipe cleaners and wrapped them around a tennis ball and painted it black.
I love the scene where it's obviously that there's just a stick sticking out of the back of those 2 fake tarantulas, and they're just bopping them up and down. They're like, no one will be able to tell, but they'll be looking at the real tarantulas.
Fulci, master of effects.
Cocaine must be great.
They are the loudest spiders I've ever heard. They're the
Oh my god.
Screech, 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 screech. Like, it's like a spoon screeching on a chalkboard and like clickety sounds and all this stuff that has nothing to do with spiders at all.
The soundtrack throughout this whole movie is just wild.
It's really something else. They end up on his face, and then they like start ripping his face apart because apparently it's made out of elastic rubber, and I don't know. It's kind of cool, but also really stupid.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, he's been murdered by hell tarantulas. That's great. I'm so glad he was in the movie. Oh, and then we also hear really bad jazz over that scene.
Ooh. That jazz.
Then we see all that jazz. What? Then we see the book with the plans, the drawing of the hotel. The drawing vanishes from the book. Zing. Doc, meanwhile, snoops around the house looking for Emily. He finds the Iban book. Okay, he starts reading it. Apparently he reads the whole book, because later he tells her he read the book. It's like, dude, how long were you in there? He's a speed reader. Martha goes back into room 36. Martha, that's that lady from earlier who was basically in a dark basement waiting for Joe to arrive because she was so fucking proud of her step walk or whatever. She walks into room 36 and finds the worst bathtub of all time.
Oh my God.
It's like full of brown sludge. It's completely, you can't see through it. It's disgusting.
Oh,
so what does she do? She reaches into it to unplug the drain and pulls out this gigantic ball of hair. Like wet, dirty hair. And she throws it on the ground.
The whole movie.
She throws it on the ground, and this is the sound it makes. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Nothing makes that sound in real life. Why did you put that sound? And then she looks at her hand like, ugh, and she kind of wipes her arms off with her other arms as if that's going to do anything. And then, as the water drains, we discovered that Joe
the plumber
is in the bottom of the... Joe the plumber was in the clogged tub.
Yeah.
And he comes up out of the tub, and his face is literally covered in wax. I mean, it might be the worst prosthetic effect I've ever seen. It is so bad. I mean, it is just terrible. He has like 2 eye holes. His head is twice the normal size because he has all this shit on it. And that guy is so weird looking. Like his chest hair looked like they just taped it to his chest.
Oh man, yeah. During the autopsy scene, whenever that guy did a really bad job of stitching his hairy chest back together. Yeah. I was like,
so if I'm not mistaken, he has at some point put a shirt back on, has he not?
A wet shirt. Yeah, that's right. He's wearing shirt consommé, and he just decided to go for a little boil in the tub.
A modest hell corpse wants to cover up his naked body. Because come on, have some class. And then he gets up, pushes Martha's face up towards one of the nails in the wall, impales her head on the nail, which of course shoots her eye out the front because Fulci really hates fucking eyeballs. He fucking
the right eye offends he.
He is not down with the right eye.
Oh,
Schweik, corpse, and his minions show up. They're looking for Emily. They surround her. This is it. And she sicks her dog Dickie on them, which is great because she's like, Dickie, kill all of them so that I may live. Do whatever you must. Put yourself at risk to save me.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're all gone, and Dickie's sitting next to her, and his head looks like he got smacked with a crowbar or something. I don't know what.
Christ. And
it's so great because he's just, it's so clearly just a dog sitting there. He's got his tongue out. He's just kind of like, hey, how's it going? When do I get my treat?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he turns on her and rips her throat out and tears her ear off to death.
Yeah. As a sock puppet.
Yeah. And this whole time she was upset because she didn't want to go back to hell, apparently. Somehow she escaped hell to warn Emily, but now Dickie has, Dickie the teabagging dog has sent her back. Yes. Arthur, the guy I forgot to mention earlier, who has no role in the house other than to be really sweaty and searching room 36 for a key, basically just vanishes. Well, he's now shown back up and attacks Liza in the basement.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess he died and went to hell somehow.
Somewhere.
Doc arrives, calls bullshit on Liza, even though he just read this whole fucking book that says verifies everything she's been saying. That's fine. He drills her, casts all this doubt on her because women. Come on, they're hysterical. And then the house goes completely ape shit. The painting bleeds. Doc and Emily get the fuck out of there in probably the smartest decision anyone makes in the movie. Well, And then as they leave, we see like silhouettes in the windows because it's, haunted house or something. They go to the hospital, as you would do, for no reason. And then, well, it turns out it's a great reason because Doc keeps a giant handgun in his desk drawer at the hospital.
A revolver, the kind with 6 chambers.
Yeah, it's like it's not even a revolver. It's like it is a revolver, but it's like one of those ones you used to shoot a fucking bear. It's like, it's gigantic. It's like, what are you, Wyatt Earp? Why is that thing in your? Okay,
Dirty Harry would look at this and be like, "It's too big."
That's right. Do you feel lucky, the Schweik?
It's like, I can't use this. I have carpal tunnel.
His big plan is that he's going to call the FBI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to call the FBI. Oh, sure. Just call the FBI.
Mulder and Scully will know what to do.
But the phone's dead. And then all the dead people, and by all the dead people, I mean like 3 or 4, arise and attack very slowly.
Ooh.
Somehow the two of them get separated. She gets on the fakest elevator, which is basically a box with a slot in front of it so that a bunch of Italian guys can push a styrofoam door over, and then they can turn on this little red mini light bulb up above that somebody mounted in the wall that they can turn on and off. That's the elevator.
It's just the most Star Trek-y looking bullshit ever.
It's so bad. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like they have elevators in Louisiana. It's not that hard to find one.
If you could shut down the fucking bridge, you could use a real elevator. It's fine. Our audience doesn't know what real elevators look like.
She's, I will get on the elevator. You must come with me. No, I will not entry. I must stay and shoot all the dead. Yeah. So he stays downstairs and whatever. Emily comes across Ginger, who, as we are reminded, is blind. She also has those weird marbleized contact lenses that had to be fucking painful. They looked really painful.
Oh, man, yeah. And this is from, like, the early days of contact lenses where that is just almost definitely, I would say, asbestos-based contact lenses. And it just... Ooh. But, I mean, your eyes will not catch on fire.
No, your eyes will not catch on fire, but you're definitely going to get mesothelioma or something.
Yeah.
Great. So, whatever. I think I read somewhere that those contacts were extremely painful, and that woman whose name was Giuseppe, but actually they called her Catherine or whatever the
Jennifer.
fuck. Anyways, she apparently was like in agony the entire time those things were in her eyes.
Fuck.
So let's put them in a child's eyes. So now Ginger has them in her eyes, and Liza doesn't know this because whatever. They reunite. It's a tremendously not exciting reunite. Yeah. And then they run into Schweik, and then Jill attacks Liza, and then Doc blows her head off.
Oh my god. It's amazing.
With one of his endless bullets.
Yeah. I like that his bullets also primarily just shoot a single, single serving amount of jelly that you would get at IHOP. Like, there isn't even an attempt at a bullet hole. There's just a little splatter of strawberry jam on the head of these zombies.
I like that whenever he shoots the zombie, he points it at wherever they've put the squib.
Yeah.
And he can see him very deliberately, like, trying to remember where the squibs are so that it kind of looks like he actually shot them. It's amazing.
Oh
it's so good. The head exploding was fantastic. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to shoot a ginger child in the head in a movie, that's fantastic. So,
I like that it just blows her face out the front and it doesn't touch the hair. So you're like really like, oh yeah, that's her hair.
It was amazing. So that's the end of that stupid kid. They pass a doorway, and they pass through a doorway and are suddenly back in the hotel basement. And they're like, oh, well, how'd we get here? and then they see the where the wall hole that Joe had made is now all smoky. We should probably go in there, because what bad thing could possibly happen in the smoky wall hole?
Yeah.
So they go through there, they arrive in hell, and then they look around every direction they look. It's the exact same shot of hell with all the dead people laying on the ground in the exact same position, no matter where they look.
You're so fucked at that point.
It's the same fucking shot. And then their eyes turn all white, and then they start walking away, and then they fade out, and we get some stupid fucking voiceover, and then some really bad music and credits. Movie over.
Ah.
Nicely done. Oh,
it's just real progressive jazz the whole time.
One of the things that I found baffling was there's a scene where I forget who it was that says it to Liza, but they're like, "Who are you? Why is this happening? There must be a reason. Who are you?" They never tell you who she is. It doesn't matter. She's just some lady who bought the house.
Yeah.
Okay, and then gets dragged to hell. For why? Because she bought the house?
So yeah, it's her uncle's house, her uncle that she never met that left it to her, and she is a professional failure that was like a model, and then she was this, and then she was getting ready to start a failed career as a fashion designer when she got the call that her uncle had left her a hotel. So this is really her last chance. And she told Dr. Dude about the book, and then that the fucking lady lives in that house over there. And so he goes to investigate. He finds that the house has been abandoned for 50 years. He finds the book that she was talking about under 6 inches of pure spider web. And then he's like, "Ah, yes, I see you planted the book there for me to find."
I know, what the fuck?
And he's like, "Who are you really?" And she's like, "What?" Yeah. So I don't know. I think they I don't know if okay, so this movie came out in Italy at the time, but then it didn't make its way to America for another 4 or 5 years because of problems. It was a video nasty in England, and then we didn't get the actual original cut of the movie until I want to say the 90s when they finally released the original version. Wow. So yeah. So maybe stuff got lost along the way. I don't know if what we watched is the Vinegar Syndrome version or who knows what, but yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's it could have gone either way. There could have been more exposition. There may well have been none. It's just who can say? I'm sure someone can, but I can't.
Before I started watching this, my plan was, oh man, I'm going to watch all 3 of the movies after this. I want to see the whole trilogy. And then after watching this movie for the 3rd time to finally figure out what the fuck was going on, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to watch the other 2 movies. Right? At least not right now.
That's 6 more viewings. Just to figure out what the hell's going on.
What's happening?
I just watched 3 movies 3 times each, and I'm still not sure what's going on.
Oh man! But so when we talked last week, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie. I had never seen this movie. I thought this was just some other movie. I was glad that I got it right, that there were eyeball things happening, but I was very surprised and shocked by the content of this film. And it is a terrible movie, but also quite delightful, except for the parts that, like you said, take for fucking ever. Oh my god!
Learn some pacing, Lucio.
Yeah. Those first 2 viewings where I watched it and had no idea what was going on, very enjoyable, but then I remembered, oh wait, I need to be able to talk about this movie even a little.
Dear God, I have to watch it again.
I need to pay attention this time.
Oh, yeah. I was when I was doing the notes take, I kept having to stop and go back because I was either just like taken in by how stupid it was or completely just lost focus. It was, like trying to change the way I wrote something or whatever, and then I'm like, oh god damn it, I need to go back now.
The little girl who witnesses, so they go to the morgue so her mom can, oh that's right, she dresses him. The mom dresses him for the funeral, and she even puts the little Catholicism on his hands.
That's right.
And then and his body is next to Schweik's, like, weird paste body, and then she looks over, I'm guessing at the brain scanner, but we never know. We could just tell that she's not looking at the dead body. She screams, and then the girl comes in just in time to be chased around the room by her mother's puddle of icy.
Jesus Christ. Oh my
God. And at what point did this main lady meet that little girl? Because then at the end, whenever she sees her in the fucking hospital, she's like, oh, hello, little girl I know by name. Come with us where you'll be safe.
There's so many things in this movie that are just, they make no sense at all. Like, why is this happening? Or I don't understand how people can make a movie and just overlook such obvious continuity errors, editing problem. Nobody gives a shit. They just barrel ahead with this stuff. It's amazing.
If you want, I read a fun little piece of trivia about this movie that actually sheds light on that. Lucio Fulci was working on another movie while waiting for this movie to be greenlit, and was so excited to make this movie that he left the other movie. He was just like, peace out, I'm gonna make the good shit. So I would not be surprised if at a certain point during this movie, he got bored and went on to the next thing.
I was a mistake, and this movie sucks on my balls.
It's fine, I'll make another sequel later. We're set it in Massachusetts.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Splendid.
What a wonderful film. It's wonderful.
It really is. It really is. It's a lot of fun. If you like progressive jazz, boy, are you not in for a treat, because this isn't the good stuff.
I love when they're in that jazz bar, and those black jazz musicians are playing, because there's their cool black jazz musicians, and the music that they decided to overdub as the jazz they're playing is like the shittiest, not New Orleans style jazz at all.
No,
it's like Kenny G if somebody made him wear gloves while he played the saxophone or something. I mean, it's just awful.
Yeah. I also love that we're in New Orleans and the only black people in the whole movie are two jazz musicians and the squeaky wheel mortician orderly that scares the little white girl with just being there and black.
Oh, don't forget the person that's sweeping the sidewalk in front of the jazz bar.
That's right. How could you forget?
The sidewalk sweeper.
Gotta keep the broken-ass sidewalk clean.
The New Orleans sidewalk, which is covered in vomit, beer, and glass.
Yeah. Last year's Mardi Gras beads are still there.
They're embedded in the pavement in half an inch of crystallized vomit.
Oh, God. That's a great band name.
Crystallized vomit or half an inch of crystallized vomit?
Both!
Thanks for coming out. We're half an inch of crystallized vomit.
We're a tribute band of crystallized vomit.
Every song is about Fulci. Actually, there is a band called Fulci.
Oh, man.
And they're a metal band, and all their songs are about Fulci. It's
nice.
fucking awesome. Yes. They just had their album came. Yeah, their album came out this year, and it's fucking amazing.
Oh, top-notch stuff.
Yes.
Well, speaking of top-notch stuff like metal albums and whatnot, or we can keep talking about this movie if there are more things you wanted to touch upon.
No, I'm good. I think we've covered it.
Is there any cool content out there you would like to remark upon as things that you've indulged in or otherwise would like to recommend?
I've been off for the last 4 days, so I haven't really been listening to audiobooks like I would be otherwise. But I did watch an unusually large amount of YouTube, even for me, because we have the premium subscription, so we don't have ads.
Oh, nice!
I watch YouTube more than anything else because these last 4 days I've basically just watched metal summer festival videos. So I saw like the Devin Townsend set from Bloodstock and the Lamb of God set and the just whatever popped up that, some of it was good, some of it was bad, but I just watched a lot of metal concerts.
Nice.
It was kind of fun. I haven't read a whole, but I did start this book by an author named Michael Wehunt, I guess. It's spelled Wehunt. I forget the name of it now, but anyways, it's like a collection of short stories. I think it's called the Inconsolables. Yeah, that's it. I just started it, and the first story is about this guy who he keeps talking about how when he was a kid, he had this fantasy about vampires. He was fascinated with vampires. And whenever he would go to his grandmother's house, he stayed in the bedroom upstairs. He always liked to imagine that there was a vampire out in the yard looking up at him. So he would look out the window and imagine this. And then he would lay in his bed and basically resign himself. He'd lay there with his eyes closed and resign himself and imagine that this vampire was standing over him. Like he had invited it in because he wanted it to kill him. And he talks about how he used to get this big rush about it. It was really cool the way he wrote it. And it was cool because it was just some fantasy that this guy had that he was thinking about as an adult.
Nice.
I don't even know where the story's going, but I just thought that was kind of like a cool little thing. But man, that's about it, really. How about you? I haven't seen any horror movies. I saw Romulus. I don't think I mentioned that.
Alien Romulus. I watched that too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Ramon's wrong.
Oh no, Ramon, why?
He hated it. He sent a message. He sent us a message on Messenger where Ramon is so awesome. I love Ramon. He put 15 bullet points or 15 numbered reasons why the movie was terrible, but then at the end said that it was kind of fun or something. But I really enjoyed it. I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's like why do those young
of
people have a ship of their own? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. There were a lot of things where I was like, oh, well, it's gonna go. Oh, no, I guess it's not. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fine.
I mean, inarguably stupid as hell, but it was fun. It was entertaining, and that's all I expect from those movies, So
yeah.
I mean, I got through AVP and Requiem. I got through the fucking Winona Ryder one, and those were all terrible, and I enjoyed those too. So this one's better than some of those. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I was not expecting it to be fun because most of my experience of 21st century alien films has been they suck balls. And so I went in, I saw that it was there, it was on Hulu, and I was like, all right, I'll turn it on. And then I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm kind of digging this. This has got some stuff to it that relates to other things that I like that aren't just Alien. It got worse after that, but I overall had fun.
I 100% agree with the things he complained about, including the Ian Holm AI reproduction is just awful. It's awful.
That was
doesn't
a
look
mistake.
real. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other things that he mentioned, and he's absolutely correct. Those things are all terrible, but I still liked it. It was still a fun movie. So I guess I guess I agree with him completely.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a piece of shit, and I loved it.
I'm gonna have to go find these bullets because I want to see now. Like the thing with the 0G acid. I was like, no, fuck this scene. I can't wait for this scene to be over because it sucks.
It's fucking lame.
Yeah.
But the thing at the end, that fucking baby alien, Babalian, or whatever the fuck that was. That thing
Yeah.
was creepy.
Way better than Alien Resurrection Baby.
Oh, that was like some sort of a combination of the closet monster in Poltergeist and an alien. It was bad.
Yeah. Ooh. Not
I mean, this one
good.
was pretty bad too, but it was real creepy looking.
Yeah. It tied some things together because it looked like one of the fucking other things, the Poseidons or whatever. I don't care what they're called. So yeah, that was good. I also have not watched much in the way of horror movies. I watched Nightman, but I don't remember anything about it.
What's that?
I don't know. It's some movie.
Okay.
Let's see. It's a young pregnant woman discovers that her perfect boyfriend may be a dangerous sleepwalker when she finds out of strange disappearances and murders taking place in the region.
Wow, that really sells it.
Yeah, I did watch it. I can remember a little bit about it now, except how it ends or anything that happens. Not really worth it.
Yeah, it sounds like a real thriller.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 skulls.
Brilliant.
And I listened to an album. I think this might be my first album recommendation on here. It's a few years old. The album is self-titled by a band called Black Shape, and it is referred to as a post-metal maximalist math album.
Okay.
In that the album is designed to be able to be played on loop continuously and be mathematically accurate all the way through. It
nice.
is all instrumental except for one song. It has a brief bit of lyrics, and it's pretty top-notch stuff. I heavily recommend it.
Wow, that reminds me. Yeah, I also highly recommend the latest Blood Incantation album, which is a death metal band from Colorado. But this last album, they've been going in some pretty weird directions. And this last album, they recorded it in Berlin. It was like the same studio where like Eno and David Bowie have recorded. It's like a classic studio in Berlin. And they were super into this whole process. And the album is like this mix of spacey, like space rock, psychedelia, like Pink Floyd type stuff, death metal, weird Tangerine Dream electronic soundscapes. It's fucking crazy. It's a really cool record.
Nice.
So they have a documentary on YouTube about them making it, and those guys are such fucking nerds. They're all like getting high in the studio and giggling and just being nerdy, and it's amazing.
Nice. That sounds awesome. I will give that a listen to.
It's so good.
Nice. Well, if we're done with that, I'm ready to talk about what we'll watch next.
Absolutely, I'm excited.
So, as you know, it's going to be our Christmas episode, where it will release just a few days before Christmas. And as you know, we always do something a little bit special for Christmas, whether it be Rare Exports or The Passion of the Christ or Black Christmas.
Yes.
So we've always done something that's somehow tied to Christmas, whether it be, Jesus Christ's death or a movie that talks about Christmas in some way. So this year I was looking through all of that. There's, of course, the movie Christmas Evil, which was one of the 3 I was considering. There's also a film called Whoever Slew Auntie Roo, which is a British Hansel and Gretel retelling about a lady who brings orphans to her house for Christmas.
Wow.
I was thinking about that one. I was also thinking about bringing us back to the new French Extremity with a 2007 film called Inside, where a pregnant woman's husband dies on Christmas Eve, and then there's a lady and whatever. And so I was trying to pick through these 3 movies, but then you talked about maggots. And that made me think of something that I'd been watching a while back. And, we just watched Lucio Fulci. And as you know, Lucio Fulci and the other directors of the Giallo movies, they inspired a lot of other directors, you know, from Carpenter and all of the guys, all of the slasher genre, all of that, all sorts of white people throughout the West were very inspired by these Italians and their Giallo films. But did you know that it also inspired people in the East?
Oh, shit.
In fact, the same year that this movie we just watched came out, 1981.
Oh my god.
The same year as The Beyond came out, there was a little film that came out by none other than the Shaw Brothers. You know.
Oh my god.
The kings of early Hong Kong kung fu cinema.
Oh
they came out with a little film inspired by Italian Giallo by the name of Corpse Mania.
Oh.
Yes.
I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. Oh my god.
Yes. So
yeah.
We're gonna watch Corpse Mania. It's a little bit hard to track down, but I managed to find a source for us to watch it. It's directed by Chi Hong Kwe, and it's a little special. And much like the movie we just watched, there are whole scenes that last altogether too long, and oh my god, when will this be over?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Corpse Mania, the Christmas classic.
Yes. Well, you see, John, Christmas, this one ties in. It ties in not because they really, like, Hong Kong is a very Christmassy place, or that Giallo is a very Christmassy holiday. It's just that Christmas is a time that we really celebrate human flesh in special ways, especially human flesh that we know will die. So, for this film, a little content warning, necrophilia is a super duper theme. So just go in. If you don't like maggots, maybe this one's not for you.
Oh man, this sounds so good.
It is something really special, and we will be bringing it to you for Christmas.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Corpse Mania, 1981, Chi Hong Kwe, which is spelled CHIH-HUNG, and then his last name is KUEI, for those looking to find it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Yes.
2 weeks hence. Get your Christmas list ready, because we are both naughty and nice.
My god. What's that in my pants? Is that a lump of coal in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
Is this a bunch of lumps of coal in my stocking, or am I just naughty?
Or is that just Dickie's balls?
Oh, Dickie, why?
Dickie's balls?
Another great rock band.
Dickie's balls. Really, I should just make like a little mini like gif of that, just his balls just flopping back and forth forever.
Oh my god, yeah, infinite loop.
Perfect.
Nice. Well, join us then. Don't be bad, and also be good.
Also be good. And as always, sorry you have to die.
Nice.